Hello, 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 and good morning.
Hello, hello. How are you doing?
I'm very well, Mr. Baptiste. How are you?
I'm okay. I am trying to work out what's happening with the weather. Like this morning when we woke up, the skies was grey. It was a
Listen,
typical London Friday, and
listen.
then
I don't. I was scared. There was actually there was actual fear that came in my heart. I turned. So just for some context, I have blackout curtains, so I tend to open them a little bit because if I wake up in the morning, it's still nighttime because I'll just go back to sleep. I'm just like, you're not gonna fool me, yeah. So I have to, in order for me, the most I use blackout curtains is during the day when I'm doing my naps, right? But during the night, I have to leave it a little bit open so that when I turn and see, I was like, oh, okay. I turned around and I was like, oh shit, have I woke up in the wrong country? And that sounds no, the reason I say that as well is because I used to travel every week for work. So there's
Mm.
like it's very disorienting just waking up in hotels in different countries and you're like, where the fuck am I again? Do you know what I mean? Like that. That was my vibe. And I literally turned and I was like, where the fuck am I? Like that. And I was like, no, this is England. This is England. This is what we're
Yeah,
fighting
but
for.
I feel like you should remember where you are in the first place. So maybe you're in the wrong is that you've gotten carried away as a result of the climatological crisis,
Yep.
thinking you're in a different
Yeah.
country.
Yeah.
And England just had to remind you of the settings that you
Yeah.
should be
No,
lucky you get a little piece of summer. And
and
when you
that's
still
it.
start getting carried away, it'll remind you where you are. Because remember, there's lots of parts of England where even though you're enjoying the hot weather,
It'll snow.
you think, yeah, it's not hot in Glasgow now.
Listen, you know what? And that's my bad because you see the weather that came, it kind of sweet me a little bit. You get me? I was like, what? Not London having summer. I was like, okay, 26 degrees,
That's
20.
so
I was doing
funny.
all of this. And then I turned around. I was like, what has happened? God, why hast thou forsaken us again?
Literally, probably because we are a corrupt island, which has has exercises political and imperial influence all over the world, and
I
literally
mean,
just tried to burn asylum seekers in hotels a couple of weeks
what,
ago
what's
because
a
the
little
football hadn't started
genocide
yet.
though?
Yeah,
Because,
attempted genocide because the
thank
football hadn't
you.
started yet. So that's probably why I got up to remind people that just so
It's
you
true.
don't know, I cry in despair at the state of your country, as you can see.
Makes sense, makes sense, makes sense. Yeah. But it was a bit and also I just got caught up because I was gonna go to the gym. Well, I mean I did go to the gym, but I was gonna go to the gym and I looked at my phone, it was like, oh, light rain will end in 35 minutes. I don't know why I always fall for this. Like I really expect that app to be to be accurate. So I was like, what? 35 minutes? That's fine. So I went out there, went to the gym, came out, torrential rain on my head. I said, listen, okay. Why does it always rain on me? Then it
I'm
was like,
assuming it was talking about the complexion of the rain as opposed to
that's
anything else.
probably what it was. It was like light skin rain for 35 minutes. And then, bitch, we
Just
coming through.
some light skin rain.
We going, you
Just
gonna know we here. That's what they said. So yes, and here we are indeed. And you know what as well, I was very very much getting used to the sun because in the lead up, as you all know, for years we have not really had a proper sunny carnival. Like we haven't had that banging carnival that I think it may be rose tinted glasses, but I remember in my youth that it was like, yeah, carnival were the days that it was going to be really hot in summer. And so, as we were counting down to this, as you'll know, there's been like a flurry of things. And I'm going to be honest with you, this has been something that's irked me way before this latest debacle that has come up, right? So,
Mm.
for people that are like, what's she going on about? What's she talking about? I'm talking about, as I've just spoken with Dane, the Jamaicafication of the Notting Hill Carnival. Now,
Mm.
before I get into it, I want to give some context. There's been a little bit of a scurry online.
Okay, let's give the first bit. Oh, actually, no, we'll probably get into it. You go ahead because some people who might be tuned to the stream may be completely unaware that.
Oh, 100%. So I'll give the
Yeah.
background, but I just want to give context to why, like, I'm kind of talking about this now and da da da. So, context is that we obviously, if you are joining us from the far flung corners of the earth and you're like, what the hell is the Notting Hill Carnival? It's the West Indian Caribbean Carnival that we have for 2 days in London on Sunday, the last Sunday and last Monday of August. And yeah, it's mirrored on the Trinidad Carnival, which obviously these carnivals also, when they say play in mass, it comes from masquerade and it came from the French islands, originally went to Trinidad and whatever. And then Claudia Jones brought it to London in response to racial like discord. I'm using a euphemism here, obviously, like violence and stuff, and just thought of it as a way to bring people together. But very much it's
Ironically, yeah, an answer to like race riots that I was seeing all over the country.
yeah, so look at that. Look at that. What we do is we'll always end the summer in a party, you know, as they tried to kill us. We're like, yeah, look, wine up the place, right? So and so yeah, so what's happened, there's been this really big prominence. So carnival for me, and someone wrote about it. I was just trying to find the tweet, but I couldn't. So someone was writing about it, and no, I'll get to the tweet. Sorry, let me start from the beginning. So what happened is there are two, what do you call them, reality celebrities? I don't know, reality stars,
Content creators.
content creator, I don't know, but they started on Love Island. So most people will, I'm assuming, know what Love Island is, even if they don't consume it. So I don't know if they won or they didn't, but they're very popular. They came from Love Island, India and Dami. And India is of Jamaican heritage and Dami is of Nigerian heritage. And they have joined with, I believe, Gymshark, and come out with some sort of like Nigerian inspired colored Gymshark wear. I don't know. And similarly for Jamaica. I don't know. I don't really understand it, but I don't need to because I'm not their age. Okay. So I'm not going to pretend that I understand everything that 20 something year olds are doing. So anyway, they've come up with this wear. And one of the problems was that they came out and they were like, oh, just in time for carnival, babes. And so people are like, well, what the fuck has that got to do with carnival? Like, what is Jamaica and whatever? Bear in mind, Jamaica, the island itself, only really got carnival about 5 years ago themselves. Do you know what I mean? Whereas in other islands, it's been going for age. Yeah. Like, it's a very recent thing because that wasn't their vibe. Like, soca and calypso doesn't come from Jamaica. Their vibe was reggae. Now, mind you, in the Notting Hill Carnival, we had the road. So the road was, you know, the calypso, the soca. You'll have calypso tents if you know about like in Trinidad, in many of them, Dominica has it as well, Grenada, they have these calypso tents. You'll have a calypso king and a calypso queen, and a lot of that is very similar to the way that reggae, I'm not talking about dancehall, and we'll get into that, but reggae is very much about social commentary. You know what I mean? Like, so so the calypso will be, I remember one time I was in, you know, Dominica, and they were bringing VAT in for the first time. And one of the guys made a song about that, the government imposing VAT. Like, so like, that's what it will be. And it's kind of funny, a little bit parody. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the vibe of it. So anyway, so that's what it was. So traditionally carnival has been the road, and then you would have reggae in the sound systems. Now, why I was going to bring up the tweet, because someone was talking about the fact that you can't delineate carnival from its origins, because actually its origins is steeped in very much in Caribbean people's history. You know, like, you can't just come and go, well, no, it's a London thing now. No, it isn't. That's what it is. The reason that it's there and it means something. And this idea, and why I say the Jamaicification, is because the sound systems are there, cool, and they've been there for a while. But my thing is, if the sound systems weren't there, there would still be carnival. You would still have the road, and that's the essence of carnival. If the road wasn't there and the masquerade wasn't there, it would just be a sound system. You can go to a sound system anywhere.
It would be an all dayer basically.
Literally, it's not the same thing. So the essence of carnival for me isn't the two of them. Yes, they can coexist, but the essence of carnival is the road and the masquerade. I'm sorry, like that's what it is, because it's about that. And even, you know, when people, do you know about Jab? You must know about Jab Jab.
Of course I know about Jab Jab, yeah.
Absolutely. So when
and for those who don't know what Jab Jab is,
you go and tell them.
Well, just explaining that Jab Jab is based on, I would say, what, a mythological entity, particularly from Grenada, which is I suppose, a costume that is frequently emulated by members of carnival floats and parades and stuff as well. But it's like, I suppose, what kind of covered in like.
So I think actually the Jab, the funny thing is a creolization of Diab, which is the devil. So it was about this scaring of the, you know, like the masters and stuff like that, this rebellion streak. And so the irony of this is that people, because apparently carnival now is for everyone, carnival is just a London thing. Well, you're coming and now forcing your interpretation of what this historic tradition is, and saying, oh, we're not doing that because it's witchcraft. Who are you? You're not doing that. Because I don't like.
Exactly, but you're talking about witchcraft as if capitalism is and money isn't the root of all evil, and features very prominently in the same Bible that you use as a basis for all of your narratives in the first place. I think, first of all, thank you for enlightening me about the origins of the etymology of the word Jab Jab. And for those who didn't know, it does come from Grenada. But for those of you who do consider the syncretion of West African folklore and Christianity, and how a lot of slaves were forced to bury that. That's the reason why you have things like jab jab in the same way as you have voodoo or voodoo in Haiti, and
Mhm.
also our own versions of what's called obio as well across the Caribbean. This is why this features in a lot of our cultural forms of expression. I think so you've given a very intellectual narrative in terms of the Jamaicanization of carnival, and also the influence from continental African entities and stuff as well, because Afrobeats, as we discussed last week, also features at carnival, which are all
And
welcome guests.
I don't believe that. Sorry, I'm gonna be the arsehole. I actually really like Afrobeats. I don't think it has a place at carnival. I don't think it does. I think,
Mm,
you know what, this is the thing as well. And so this is one of the things that like kind of gets me about the black community in general. In general, it's a
yeah,
generalization, guys, is that we don't gatekeep enough. And so we
no,
tend to dilute our heritage and our traditions. And I think for me personally, and I don't know because I've lived in the Caribbean as well, I feel quite strongly about carnival, and I don't always go in the UK. To be honest, a lot of it is because I feel like it's been so diluted. So, and
yeah.
you'll find a lot of people will go, I'm going to go back to the Caribbean and go to carnival there, and I feel quite strongly about the traditions that are in place. And for me personally, I don't think that if Afrobeats is there, it should not be on a float. I don't think they should be able to play that music on a float, like
No,
throw it into a
no,
pool
I don't. I
float
definitely
at
shouldn't be
all,
on. It should definitely should not be on a float, and I
at
completely
all.
agree with you in terms of that sentiment. That it
Like,
shouldn't
I
be on a
don't even
float.
believe, like, even UK music, like, shout out to gigs, but I don't think that should be on a float, like, because yeah, Rampage and all of that was always there, do you know? Well, and when they started coming, Rampage and those
Yeah.
sound system is very different, but I think the road needs to stay pure, and the road needs to stay the road. I feel like that's what it is, and if you don't
Oh,
like music,
definitely. Oh, definitely. And yeah, I think I was kind of in a very meandering way, kind of build up to kind of the same point where,
mm,
yeah, it is a celebration of soca and calypso music. I think that throughout the summertime there are a number of all dayers and different festivals
of
which
course,
celebrate a number of genres of subgenres of Black British music and celebrate the various nuances of the Black British identity. But carnival is a Caribbean thing, and Caribbean does not mean Jamaican. And really and truly, if you are somebody who considers yourself to be a part of the culture or has an affinity with the culture, and you still don't know that in 2024, then maybe you need to shut the fuck up and or stay home. But Carnival is a Caribbean festival, and it is for Caribbean music. And I think that places like Rampage have provided that kind of alternative for more contemporary genres of music, and for those who maybe not as au fait with soca and calypso. But a lot of people have expressed that they don't necessarily like soca and calypso, and you're entitled to your opinion. But if you've got a problem with that being a carnival, you should definitely stay the fuck home.
oh,
Kind of.
100%. And but you know what else there is, and I don't know because I'm not Jamaican. So
Neither am I.
I'm not Jamaican. However, and I've been to Jamaica many times, maybe a lot more than a lot of people that claim that they're Jamaican and pull out the flag whenever they want to, just because they've had one jerk chicken in their life. But like, here's my thing: is that Jamaica as a nation doesn't gatekeep, right? Like, they don't gatekeep anything,
I mean,
and
they gatekeep against small islands.
against small islands. But trust me, if you look like Princess Diana and you came out with a Jamaican patois accent, the way that you would see out of many one people, and like the pride that would be bursting out of people's chests, I'm even a little
You
bit
might
embarrassed.
you might actually be made into a princess. That is how much Jamaicans
And
are refuse to gatekeep
I
other
mean,
non-black people in
and like,
Jamaica.
they don't gatekeep, but also what it allows is that there's all these people with tangential links to Jamaica to claim Jamaicanness, right? So they'll just it's the biggest island. Let's get this flag and like let's just pretend that. And so what you have is a lot of people that are just coming in, and maybe they found out that, I don't know, their mum was born next to Jamaica, or I don't know, whatever, but they
Some
would just
people, some
claim
people really will
Jamaicanness,
have a Jamaican neighbor, or sometimes came
like
downstairs and
whatever it is,
and
and they're like,
it's
I'm
just a
going to
Jamaican
I
boyfriend.
love my neighbor's Jamaican and I love carnival and whatever. And so there's this huge explosion that makes carnival seem very Jamaican when actually it isn't. And also Ray and Nephew, listen, you need to hold some licks for that as well, because the way Ray and Nephew has just been forcing on, they, first of all, they've been sponsoring, like, they're like, oh, we're Jamaican, da 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 da, which is fine, whatever, they want to brand, but then they're all over carnival as well. So Ray and
Yeah.
Nephew want to be all over carnival. They want to be doing, oh, the Jamaicafication of carnival. And for me, I just think you guys need to settle. Like, I just really believe that.
Yeah,
Like,
but I think that's a number of entities as well. Is that it's down to the fact that I think people see the West Indies or the Caribbean as just a homogenous blob, and Jamaica is only part of the British West Indies that most people can name. And so whenever people are trying to market or kind of endear themselves or present as having an affinity with Caribbean culture, they opt for the Jamaican anyway, because I don't think a lot of people realize that there are other colors on
yeah,
Caribbean flags other than just the red, gold, and no, sorry, the green, black, and gold. And yeah, a lot of people tend to profit from it because I remember I think it was 2 years ago, they had the Arsenal kit came out and they had a special edition that was for Carnival. Everyone was wearing at Carnival, and again, it was just Jamaican colours. But yeah,
But that's what I mean. There's this deliberate reinforcement, and I think it's because Jamaica doesn't gatekeep in the way that another nation might. So if you look at, for example, when Michael B. Jordan tried to do, I think it was him, Trinidad rum or something to do, they were like, "Nah, bro." I can't remember who it was, but they were like, "No, you're not doing that. No, 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 no." They were just not having a bar of it. We don't care. Good for you, you know, Wakanda forever, whatever the fuck it is. But like, you're not doing that. So here's the thing: is like also it also kind of dilutes Jamaicanness because it's just everything and nothing. If you're just claiming everything to be Jamaican and there's nothing, then what really is Jamaican? Like what? And that's when that's why for me, out of many, one people is a con. Because what you're doing is all the greatness that does come from Jamaica, and there is a lot of it. Like let's not mince words. Like the impact that reggae music, for example, just as one thing has had on the world is incredible. Like it's incredible for such a small island that at the, you know, I mean, now I think there's like 2.7 million, but I think, you know, if you go back 34 years, there's maybe 1 point something million. Incredible impact on the rest of the world. How the fastest people in the world coming from some tiny island like that, incredible impact. The fact that so many people know, the fact that you can go to most places in the world and there'll be a Jamaican spot. It may not be great, but there'll be a Jamaican spot spelling Jamaican food.
somebody will
Incredible
give it a
impact.
go, or just yeah, not just that, like you know, Rastafarianism being like
Yes,
a religion
exactly.
itself has been able to
That
kind of
that
spread
came from
globally
Jamaica
as
and
well.
spread
That
out,
came from
like
Jamaica.
incredible. So what? But my point being is like that those things are real and they're pure and they actually should be not even gatekept but controlled by a Jamaican narrative. But this inclusion of just
But
anything.
but even then, I'd like to say when you say a Jamaican narrative, what we actually mean is that it would be Afro Jamaican or Black Jamaican narrative that
Oh,
has to kind of
100%.
be controlled because obviously this out of many one people does not really
Oh,
address the
that's
fact
just to
that the
subdue the black majority in
yeah,
Jamaica. Oh,
because
100%.
everyone's like out of many one people, but no one's really talking about the fact that like out of many one people, certain groups of people don't have access to beaches in Jamaica or massively
100%.
overrepresented below the poverty line, and maybe this is where this lack of political and cultural influence is able to kind of be excised because people do not have the power and the money that allows them to
Yeah.
do that and to gatekeep their culture.
And
But
to be
yeah,
honest with you, I was doing a documentary.
see how dark it got in here,
No,
man.
I just, you know what? I'm going to say two things. First, I'm going to say you look really like moody. The aesthetic is giving like I'm an art student and I'm going to do my monologue at some point, and it's like,
But 1 second, because
I'm going to carry on talking anyway. While you're
yeah, you carry on talking because this is pretty
Okay,
it is
so
a
Dane's gone into
madness.
witness protection. It's fine. Don't worry about it. We're not even going to call him Dane anymore. It's Enab. His name is backwards. So that's what it is. So anyway, so I was doing. Oh, there you go. Welcome back. I was doing this documentary. And when I say documentary, please don't look for it because the assets are all on my computer, just in various parts. But I went over to Jamaica and I was interviewing quite a lot of like prominent people. And one of the people that I interviewed, who's amazing house by the way, called Dr. Carolyn Cooper. And she has this amazing speech where she talks about the nonsense of this out of many one people. And she talks about, look, what are you talking about out of many one people? What it is a way to dilute the accomplishments and the things that black people have done in this country and just attribute it to minorities. Yes, there are minorities and they are Jamaican. I'm not trying to take that away from them, but the country is over 90 something percent black. So this out of many is just a nonsense. And also it's disproportionately the minorities in that country that have the money and the capital and the power. So what you're doing is just saying, oh, don't worry, we're all the same. We're gonna take pride in your accomplishments and the things that you've done. That sounds a lot like something that ends in
It sounds
Dory.
like France. It also sounds like the French when they talk about socialism and like we equité, and we are like.
I don't know.
I spoke to the people them in Burkina Faso and Niger and Mali, and they said you lot aren't really that about
It
equality like
does.
that.
There's something that begins with an S and rhymes with bravery, and that's what it sounds a lot like. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. And I'm not making any claims in case anyone wants to sue because we know how you people be moving. But I'm just saying I feel like Jamaica is getting ripped off. I think it's a really amazing, powerful island. I think the people from there are really amazing. I truly do. And I think that what I encounter on a daily basis when I'm just in the Western world is a lot of people, especially that project what they believe Jamaica is onto Jamaica. And I feel that there's a lot of people also that have this a frozen in time idea of Jamaica because
Yeah.
their parents maybe left in the 50s, and actually they've probably never been back, or they're in their family that they've extended, they've got a blended family that's married out, and so they've never they if they've gone there, it's only as a tourist as well, and seen one very specific part of it, and they're still
Mm.
thinking back to this part of Jamaica that doesn't really exist. Because I grew up in Nunhead in South London. If I go there back there now, it doesn't even I live in this country and it doesn't look like when I grew up. So you can
Yeah.
imagine, from generations of things, you're harking back to a memory that you don't actually have. So
Yeah, and
anyway,
I think those people purporting the culture around the world as well there's been subject to a level of I guess assimilation, and there's
yeah,
also been some kind of dilution as well, and the presentation of a more palatable aesthetic of Jamaica, like from shows like Caribbean Uncovered and stuff that used to go on. And while this has happened, there has been relatively little to no proliferation of the remaining Caribbean or British West Indies in this case as well, and people that
yeah,
aren't haven't really taken the time to make a distinction. And that's obviously very evident from the fact that like there is a whole Just West Indies team that compete in like cricket, for example.
hmm
And yeah, most people aren't aware of that. Like for example, like I would imagine that Leeds Carnival would have a large St. Kittsian influence because
hmm
obviously a large amount of the diaspora is based there. Um, so yeah,
And
people need
actually,
to take into account.
even that Notting Hill Carnival being where it was is because
Mm,
a lot of the Eastern Caribbean people were there. I know you
yeah.
go to Paddington, you'll find a lot of Dominicans over there. There are a lot of
Hmm.
Lucians over there. Do you know what I mean? So like the whole location of the carnival speaks to the historic positioning of those Eastern Caribbean people when they came over to
Which is
Jamaica.
which is an interesting point, because as well as the Jamaification of Carnival, then you do have the larger mainstream media attempts to kind of whitewash Notting Hill's racial landscape as well. When they made a film called Notting Hill
Hmm
with Rhys Ifans and Julia Roberts, and no black people in it whatsoever. Even though we know when most people ponder the term Notting Hill, it normally ends in Carnival, but there was no black people in that film. So we see you out
But
there.
what's really funny? I was reading about that, and like after, because I've not actually seen Notting Hill, but because
Me
like what.
either. Why would I? There's no
I
Carnival
mean,
in it
I
whatsoever.
know, but it's something that was really popular in like the US and stuff, because they love that kind of stuff. They love like the whole, do you know what I mean? Like this image of what London really is like. And
Of course,
I
London without black people, purported around the world, is
no,
something people absolutely
but
fucking
don't
love.
forget that that's where they will get a lot of their information. And it's so funny because someone had said that London is what New York claims to be, right? So like in
Mm,
terms of the people just mixed up and whatever else like that. But the image that we push out is of like some sort of racial purity or whatever, whereas New
mm.
York claims to be really mixed, but it's actually very segregated. There's loads of people there, but they'll live in their pockets in a way that in London.
Outside of New York City, it gets super segregated for people who do not
Yeah, yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. It is
Super
really.
segregated.
I mean,
And
I remember when I was in New York, when I was like 12, I was visiting my aunt, and my cousin was the same age as me, 12. And I mentioned something about white people, and he was like, "Oh, I don't have white people in my school." And I was like, "What, in your whole school?" And he was like, "No." And I was like, "Your whole school? You don't have any white people?" And he was like, "Nah." He was like, "We got some Spanish people." I was like, "Your whole school doesn't have it?" Like I was just like, "What do you mean?" Do you know what I
I
mean?
mean, even their understanding of the term Spanish is so different as
Yeah,
well. And it's like,
exactly.
but to be
And I was
Spanish
like,
is.
oh, so people came from Spain here? You know what? Let's not even get into that. But we can get into something else, okay? And that we've been speaking about, we've been seeing on our TV, well, not TVs, I've been watching it on YouTube. I don't know about you, but the Democratic National Convention has taken place recently. Listen, first of all, I spoke to my friend, shout out to Jess. I spoke to my friend Jess in the US, and she was the first one, because in my head, right? I don't think that I've ever really paid attention to these things in America, like these convention type things.
Mm,
So I imagined it to be something like the British ones, right? So in my head, those British ones were like Theresa May is walking like a robot, or like fucking George Osborne standing like, oh, I'm doing a power stance. Look at me in my ill-fitting suit. That's what I thought. I should have known better. Bro, she was like, yeah, did you see it? It was lit. I was like, how was it
it
lit?
was it
Why
was
did
kind
I
of
turn on
it
YouTube
was
and
so
see Little
lit.
John going to the window?
It was actually very lit. It
It was
was
lit.
very. It was
It
lit.
was lit. It was one of those things that I was like, man, I should have gone. I've got no business being there. I've got
Listen,
no business being there. I was like, what? Little John was there when California
if you got a problem, with Soko Calypso going to the carnival, try going to the Democratic National.
Listen, I was like, first of all, they were like, let's have a party, let's have a festival, and throw a little bit of politics in there. That was the vibe, okay? They
Yeah.
had the California delegation when they were coming out. They were all I'm hearing in the background is they not like us. I said, what is happening? What is happening? I don't understand. Then there were also there was we gonna be all right. I said, listen, they're going, yeah, we're the state, Indiana, that's home of Michael Jackson. But I said, okay, this is good. This is great. So so when they had their little Litty festival, which I don't know, is it finished now? Because I know it's over a few days. I don't think, is it finished? I don't know.
I'm actually sure. I'm sure that people are still recovering, and
I
maybe
don't
there's
know.
a few
It was like, it's basically like spring break.
a few after parties that are still going on
They
as
must
well.
have. They must have.
Because
And after the party, obviously, there's the after
because
party.
please do not leave. Waffle House and that. Listen, please do not leave out seeing Stevie Wonder up in there as well.
Listen,
Electrically, like Stevie Wonder should be protected at all costs, and I'm not sure if seems like he's not even aging.
First of all, Stevie Wonder's not blind. Anyway, so I just just want to put that out there. I don't believe it. I believe that man can see because something's going on. Yeah.
Or Stevie Wonder probably has an eye or has trained some other organ to see.
I have no proof, but as one of my icons on TikTok said, I have no proof, but I'm brave for saying that. So I just so that's what I'm gonna say.
You know what? And so what if you can see?
Like,
what does that take away from?
Like, you know what? I respect the grift. If he really can see, I respect that he's managed to do that his whole life. Just be like, "Yeah, bitch, I'm blind. I'm blind. I'm blind." And happy. You know what? Because I feel like sometimes, I'm not gonna say that because I'm definitely gonna get cancelled. But like, let's think about children in buggies rather than the adults. Sometimes I see kids getting put into buggies, right? And I was like, wow, like in the push it, like. Can you imagine if they just had an adult version where I could be just like, oh, can you just push me home? Like, and I'm just like, do you know how sick that would be? How lit, right? And I know that like being blind isn't the same as being in a buggy. And like, okay, cool. Yeah, I know, I get it. Okay. But imagine if you weren't blind, but you could pretend to be blind. Do you know what I mean? Like you could just kind of like, oh no, I didn't see it. Sorry. Like, do you know that kind of stuff? That would be so good.
I mean, that does sound a lot like the white liberal disposition when it comes to describing racism.
Do you know what I mean? So
I don't see colour.
There you go. It's almost as close to being whiteness as we can get, but still being black. Do you know what I mean?
I can't see what's the injustice because I'm blind. I'm colorblind.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I'm blind.
So anyway, so they had this DNC convention. It was great. They had the superstars come out, the Obamas. Barack was Barack. Like he's a good speaker. He's a very good orator. One of the best that we've seen in a long time. To be fair, like whether you agree with his politics or you don't agree with his politics, he's a very good speaker. He's very natural. He's kind of funny and whatever. But Michelle Obama is a fucking queen. Like literally, one of the things I think that people like about them and their relationship is that Obama is very likable. Like he's very charming. He'd be a good cult leader, I think. And so and sorry, I'm just into cults at the moment, so I don't know why I just threw that in randomly. Like what?
Cults is popping in America right now.
That's what I'm saying. And like there's cults all around. Like half of you are in cults, you don't even know. So anyway, so I just and I stand by that, and I'm brave for saying that. So I just like. I think that Barack Obama would be a very good cult leader. I feel like Michelle Obama is just such a queen. And also like Obama knows she is. Like he doesn't seem to feel intimidated by the fact that she's better than him. Like she's smarter than him.
But when they were both working at the first legal firm, like she turned him down when he first asked her out.
She should. Who are you, bro?
Yeah, basically. So he was be smoking with his friends, being like, I can't get her to notice me. And
and she's like, listen. Negro, okay? I don't think so. Okay?
He's like, Michelle, what's it gonna take? And she was like, you'd have to be the president of the United States.
Exactly. She's like, I need you to run the country first before I can. That's what. And he was like, okay, say less.
If that's what it takes to get in those pennies,
exactly. Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Okay, I need you to be serious, Dane. So anyway, I wanted to talk about that. But what I was going to say as well, and just you've probably got things to say, but the DNC, the convention, what I thought when I was looking at it, some of it, and I did watch a bit. I did go through the whole roll call of delegates. I don't know what's wrong with me. I sat there for an hour and 20 minutes, and I went through all the roll call because I wanted to see the different music. But what I was thinking, I was like, this wouldn't be lit if Biden was still there. This wouldn't have been the same thing.
Because he'd have to go home early for a start,
right? And somebody had to be like being criticized for saying, I don't think that he would survive until thingy, and like there's no, you know what, if I helped in my little way to get him to and I think I did, I've got no proof of that, but I'm brave for saying it. If I helped to get him to resign from this presidency in my little way by bad mouthing him, Genocide Joe, so that he can die in angst because he's genocidal, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry because I gave you guys a lit. What I'm trying to say is that I feel responsible for how lit that convention was.
You
If
are
it
you are
wasn't
you
for
are
us,
you're
and
you're
like,
you're a taxpayer, and we're both political commentators. And if we've
but
been
there
able
you
to
go. And if
influence,
it
they
wasn't
have
for
it.
us and the 3 people that watch us, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
the team.
Would they have that? No, they wouldn't.
They
Okay.
wouldn't.
So you are welcome, Americans.
Exactly. And I've been champion Stevie Wonder, maybe for a presidential candidate and a running mate for a very long time, and
There
everybody
you
knows that
go.
about me. So
Coincidence? I don't think so.
I think that there was also this whole. I mean, what we calling this lit party from the DNC? But a very impassioned speech from Kamala Harris's running mate Tim Walz.
Oh, I didn't see
But
that. I didn't see it. Was
yeah,
it good?
just yeah. I mean, I
He's
saw
like
bits of
a
it,
solid
but
dude, though. I feel like he's just like a
yeah,
solid dude. Do you know
I
what I
don't know
mean?
where the hell this guy's been for so long that Biden
Well,
even became a
he was
candidate
the
in the
one that
first
started calling
place.
Trump weird, apparently, and then people weird. It's like,
Yeah, and
oh,
it's been
weird.
yeah, and JD Vance, and he's kind of carried a bit, and he's also a veteran as well. So it's really surprising that like this has
Yeah.
never come up before, especially because historically, even with Colin Powell, who was also being considered with a lot of
Oh, is he
credibility
still
for a
alive?
presidential candidate. Oh no, he died from COVID,
Oh,
and
okay.
maybe from karma. I don't know why the sun has changed to show it like that, as if I
He's
was
got such a
involved in his
Jamaican name, though, as
assassination.
well. Call in. Call in. How you doing?
Colin, yeah, it's not Colin, it's
Call
Colin.
in. Come in, yours.
But he was gonna be the Obama before Obama was Obama in terms of
Yeah, I mean,
presidential
he wasn't gonna make
candidates.
it. He wasn't gonna make it.
No, I mean that's one of the reasons why he actually turned down, because he said that basically he was like,
Bro, why is the sun attacking you? Please.
I've
I
got
don't
no
know.
idea. I've got no idea. Now it's giving me like a Homer
It hurt.
Simpson
You
kind
know
of
what? The
sort of
weather
thing.
heard you bad mouthing at the top of the episode. It's like, bitch, I'm gonna show you.
Well, I
Okay.
stand by what I said, weather. So come at me, bro. But yeah, just this really very impassioned speech about his acceptance of his son, who actually has attention deficit disorder as well as a non-verbal learning disability. So his son
Yeah.
was very emotional at his dad referencing the love he has for him. But this just left open a space for right-wing punditries to kind of attack him and make comparisons between Gus Waltz and Barron Trump, saying that Barron Trump doesn't cry and he's a real man, unlike Gus, who's a crying beta mess, which is very interesting because obviously this week I also learned that Barron Trump has killed at least 3 small animals.
Barron Trump is definitely giving serial killer vibes. First of
Oh
all,
yeah,
let's start there. He's obviously emotionally stunted. He grew up in a loveless family, okay, with a mother that hated his father and a father that would sexually assault people at chance. So I'd be surprised if he didn't grow up to have at least a clean body presence.
he's Joffrey from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I
And
mean, I
if you
haven't
cut
watched
and
it,
if you
but I know
cut
that's not a good thing. Okay,
I can assure you that it's not a good thing. I mean, are you aware of Caligula,
no.
the Roman emperor who used to
Oh,
have
okay. Yeah, sorry.
yeah.
I was like, that didn't sound like something that was in Game of Thrones, and I do know a
uh,
lot of the people's names.
I mean, there's a lot of similarities between Caligula's reign in Rome and also Game of Thrones. Like, yeah, just pure orgies and madnesses, and
Yeah.
also said that Caligula used to get like advice from his horse, and
Oh, that makes sense.
but then also I heard that he used to be doing orgies with horses and dwarves there as well. So
Oh, okay. That also doesn't make sense, but okay, whatever.
I mean,
Makes sense
I wouldn't put that past the Trump dynasty anyway. But
You know,
yeah, it's,
and also Baron is quite tall, so that would make sense.
is he tall or has he got some shoes that are helping him? Because I wouldn't put that past
I
that
don't
family
know,
either.
but you know what? I wish them the life that they deserve based on how they've treated other people. So, yeah, so I'm gonna send you something actually after this of the because I didn't know about the whole thing with Tim Waltz's son, and then I saw today on Twitter this girl talking about the fact that Ann Coulter had said something about the son, and I'm gonna send you what she says about Ann. It's beautiful. Anyway, but speaking of ugly people, no, I'm joking. Speaking. But I think, but you know what? We need to be wrapping this up. So, what else have you got for us, Dane?
Well, first of all, there has been the super yacht, the Beijing super yacht has now found a sixth body, which they have now confirmed turns out to be the former head of well, no, sorry, Mike Lynch. Because I gotta be honest with you, when the story first
Do you
came
think
out,
it was a trade union guy?
I thought it was Mick Lynch.
Yeah, so did I was like, no, why are you on a yacht, my guy?
I was there, but it actually turns out to be former CEO of the company Autonomy, previously purchased by Hewlett Packard, and that is Mike Lynch. His wife had survived the capsizing of their ship, but his daughter Hannah Lynch led to be recovered. The chef has the body of the chef on the super yacht has also been recovered as well. That's and that's Ricardo Thomas, who was the only black person that I know that was on the ship. So it's very sad
we
and
all know
extra
black people can't
flowers.
swim, so that was never going to work out.
Yeah, and on the super yacht, which according to the CEO of the manufacturers of super yachts of this nature, they are supposed to be unsinkable. But basically, want to talk about that.
Oh
Mike
please, why
Lynch.
are they still using that after the Titanic? They're still. Do you know what I mean? It didn't work then, babe. Why do you think it's going to work now? Grow up.
You got to do the pitch to the billionaires, them innit? So yeah, what is the worst that could happen? You have a submarine and it's controlled by an Xbox controller. Nothing bad can come of this. But so what's interesting is, for those of you who have got your tinfoil hats on, is that Mike Lynch 10 years ago became a billionaire after selling his company Autonomy. Him and his business partner selling their company to Hewlett Packard for 11 billion. But then later went through a court case for fraud, which they originally acquitted of because the company was actually valued at 8 billion, and Hewlett Packard was like, well, go on for that blood. There's a couple P's missing off of this thing. But in the end, they were acquitted of the accusations of fraud. And then, this enormous unsinkable boat mysteriously capsizes. And Mike Lynch's his co-defendant in his fraud case, Stephen Chamberlain, was recently hit by a car while jogging and died on Monday after being put on life support at a UK hospital.
Coincidence? I don't believe it.
I don't know,
especially when I see one. Okay, so
well, because what they believe is that the yacht was hit the coast, had a water spout, and which is actually a tornado, which tipped the boat into sea. Now, a lot of people are saying that this is completely a coincidence, which it might well be. And maybe in the case of Mike Lynch and the tragic death of himself and his family, thoughts and prayers, maybe that might be down to a freak accident of a climatological nature. But my man getting licked down while going on a big money jog.
No.
I don't really. No.
Something sounds suspicious to me.
Something sounds very suspicious.
Think, whilst, obviously, RIP to the innocent people aboard or whatever, but I've seen this is not my fault. This isn't my fault. When the things that are coming out of my mouth right now, it's not my fault. It's Hollywood's fault. I've seen too many Hollywood, Russian, spy, kind of espionage type movies to not think that they wouldn't just take out a whole bunch of people just to get one person.
Also, the chairman of Morgan Stanley was also on the yacht when it capsized. So
did he survive?
He did not survive. He did not survive.
Well, I'm just saying. First of all, the submarine thing, when the people went down in the submarine and decided to die because they wanted to play Xbox at the bottom of the sea or whatever, that didn't make no sense to me, right? I was like, I don't know why you're going down there, whatever. But this thing here, a yacht that is just, I think, wasn't it moored as well? It wasn't even wasn't even far off the coast, or was it far off the coast? Because I didn't.
No, it was. You're right. It was anchored.
It was
actually anchored.
Yeah. So hold on a minute, and then there's a woman that survived with a 1-year-old child.
Yeah.
What were you guys doing? Were you drunk? Were you asleep? How?
I think his wife survived as well. So I think they reckon that because the people that were actually on deck, on the deck, would have been, no, they would have died. But I think it's the people that would have been below deck may have survived.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah.
You know what it is? This is my fault. But I am one of those weird people that were like, oh, I would have survived that. I just.
They call that, I think that's called main character complex.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not gonna lie, I definitely have that. No, whenever there's something, I definitely bro. I've watched the Olympics. I've counted about 5 events that I think, I could ace that, right? Now, I don't even need to train. I'm just I could definitely have done that. So
get the knack like Tom Hanks for the ping pong.
And I'm kind of you know what? I can swim. I'm like, what's wrong with you? I can hold my breath. I know this is a load of bullshit, but
I think based on what I've seen, I'm okay at breakdancing.
I'm definitely okay. First of all, I would have won breakdancing. At least I would have got points. Okay.
You got points at least.
I would have got points as a starters. I feel like curling. I would do really well at. Yeah.
Mm.
I think I'd have a good go at shooting. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll be decent at
Um,
shooting. I can give that a go.
Also, a few years back, I can't remember what it was for, but they
I
had
think shot put. I'd be good at shot put.
yeah, no,
If you put something on a shot put like peanut butter, I'd be like, ugh.
yeah,
And then yeah.
I don't think I would be good at that. Like if I'm thinking like the swinging thing. What's that one where you swing think something at the end? Not with like that one, but the one where you
Oh,
swing
the
it.
hammer. That's a hammer.
Is it a hammer when it's like at
Yeah.
end of a rope and then
Yeah,
that?
yeah. That's a hammer.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
hammer
I think
throw.
I'd be amazing at that. Like again, I've got no proof,
Yeah,
but like
you be like, where's the thing that you swing? Do you mean the hammer? I don't know.
just give me
What
the
the
swingy thing, bro. Like I just know that I can dash things. Yeah, so like give me the thing to dash and I'll dash it. Like that's the vibe that I'm going for.
I think Olympic walking as well. I think I'd be
Yeah,
good. The
I
walk.
would. But after a while, I'm just like I'm bored of this. I'll get Heelys. I'll get Heelys, and because I'm like, you guys, you're using too much energy, like whatever. So, yeah, like there's quite a few that I think I'll be good at. So I definitely have. Now, you know what it is? I feel like I've got. I don't know if you've heard of the Dunning-Kruger effect. So I've done a video about this before. Yeah, like so when I've watched the Titanic. I know it's a Hollywood movie, but I'm sure it's based on a true story, and I can swim. So I put those things together, and I was like, oh, I'd survive. Like I'd be okay. So that's where my delusion comes from. Like
I'll definitely be okay on the Titanic, but what I would do is go for the Billy Zane approach, where I would just snake everybody and be like, "No, you're crowding the boats."
You know what? I wouldn't even just do that. I want to make sure I'm the only survivor. I might even just stab the other boats as I'm going past like this. I'm like, no, because if the people come, they might have to decide who to save, and they might not choose me. So I'm like, I need you to die. Okay, so I'm so sorry. But yeah, I definitely think that I would survive a capsizement. I don't ever want to have to prove that point, by the way. So please don't invite me on your boat. I'm not trying to prove that I would, but I just think I would. Yeah. No, I just think I would.
You'd have survived, and with that being said, we still send out thoughts and prayers to the
Thank
victims.
you. absolutely.
Particularly Ricardo Thomas.
Show you how deluded. I mean, I used to ride motorbikes, okay, like, and people are like, "Aren't you scared?" I was like, "No, I'll be fine." Like, I genuinely believe it. And I was. So, like, that's the problem. My life keeps proving me right, okay, until it doesn't, and then R.I.P. me. You'll just turn on one day and there'll be just a mic and no me. I'm sorry. You know what? And you know what's funny is black people hate when you joke about death. So I'm gonna stop doing that.
But what I will show is that you're also an effective ghost, because somehow, as a poltergeist, you were able to activate the life without even 100%. Being there present.
So no, I'll put it in my will. My kids will have to do it.
Listen, the dynasty continues.
Anything else? I was like, were we supposed to do something for Mom when she died? Like,
it'll have to continue. You'll have to continue.
Perfect. So yeah. I think that's it. We've got all we've got time for today.
That is all time we've got time for today. But I just want to repeat again: if you do not like circling clips, so stay the fuck home and don't come carnival. Yeah, carnival is it's a Caribbean thing, and if you want to go to a dance hall or go to Reggae Fest, or if you like drum and bass, go to Boomtown. I don't fucking know where you people doing it, but
I don't know. I don't know.
Don't
like,
come.
Please just, it's not a London thing, okay?
Also, on the subject, you know, I've also had to have conversations on TV before with the heads of the Metropolitan Police who wanted to stop Carnival and ban it as well, who have been like, the violence. There's not enough people on the Caribbean islands to make up the numbers that come to Carnival. If everybody from St. Vincent or everybody from Grenada, every single person on these islands attended Carnival, they would still only form about 15%, if that, of the attendees. So please, like,
I'm just not hearing it, and yeah, if you don't like it, because they're not even having Juve this year. I don't want to get into that. That's the best part of Carnival for me, so I don't want to talk about that. But if you want to hear me talk some other nonsense about like whatever, I'm on social medias. I'm on the Reluctant Accountant on TikTok, although I haven't been posting there because TikTok's been moving mad, trying to ban me, fam. Because I think it's because I'm associated with you, Day, and I'm not even gonna lie. So they put my account under warning for no reason, and I'm also on Instagram, so see me there. I was also on a podcast recently that wasn't mine, and I looked at the video and I was like, oh, I look really ugly. I'm not that butters in real life. Just I looked at him, I was like, why do I look like I have bags on my eyes? I must have been having a bad day. So I don't really look like that. But more importantly, my podcast, the Misinformation Podcast, is coming out on September the 2nd. It's going to be great. And even if you don't think it's going to be great, go and listen to it anyway, because you need to support black businesses. Okay, we have it hard out here. We are minorities. And Dane also has a podcast. Dane's got a podcast called Citizen Dane. don't you, Dane? When does it come out? What we talking about?
It
Tell
comes
me,
out
tell
weekly.
people.
It comes out weekly every Wednesday, and it's basically me talking about my concerns for the world, because everything is a madness right now. And I'm trying to form a little citizens brigade of other people that might be experiencing some existential angst about how much fuckery are going on in the world. So please join me to discuss them things. Also, if you're in the live now and you have some real concerns about my mental health, your mental health, the mental health of the world, then please do send them into Citizen Dane, and I'm happy to read them out and discuss those as well.
Oh, that's not your email address. Give it properly.
It's
Citizen
citizendane@gmail.com. So
Thank
please
you,
do send in
Citizen
any
Dane.
concerns as well. You can
That's
send them
spelled
in
with a Z. Citizen.
you can send it in anonymously, or you can send it in and let me know your name, and I'll shout you out. But yeah, you're looking at the Black James O'Brien out here talking things them. And yeah, I'd love for you guys to join me, unless you think there should be more dancehall and Afrobeats at Carnival, in which case, I need to hear from you this
Go
week.
along, if that's what you think. So so yes, so please do. Yeah, and that's it. I think that's all we need, babes. That's all we need. We're done here.
This is it. I'm going to return to being some kind of reverse vampire as the sunlight tries to hunt me down. Yeah, man. And also, yeah, if you're interested, I'll be gigging tonight in Covent Garden at the London Comedy Club. So yeah,
Hear
look
that,
out for
bitches?
that.
He's gigging again. What you gonna do? What you gonna do, Stooky?
What are you going to do? Indeed, yeah. But so you can catch me in Central London on both this evening and also on Saturday. Message me for more details. But yeah, man, have a good weekend. Have a good Carnival weekend. People enjoy your bank holiday as well. Just need to say thank you very much to my co-host Z.